I repeat it here. Angular is an application design framework for the client side part of the web application that allows developing, or that gives you development platform for creating efficient and sophisticated single page apps. Okay.
Yeah.
Angular initially got introduced with the name Angular JS. JS stands for JavaScript. So actually it came in as a JavaScript framework only. The first few versions, 1.x series, were all based on the code written in JavaScript. Though the framework was making it easier to write that JavaScript code, but still JavaScript has got its own limitations, including that one major roadblock that we have where we said JavaScript is not type safe. And that actually introduces lots of bugs. That's why the Angular design team later on decided that JavaScript is not going to be the language for future for the Angular framework. They adopted one of the Microsoft language for developing the Angular applications, that is TypeScript. TypeScript is a type-safe language which gives you C# like syntax. You can compare it with Java also. You can compare it with C++ also. It gives you object-oriented implementation. And the beauty of this language is that it ultimately transforms to JavaScript. And this was already designed by Microsoft. So Angular design team ultimately adopted this TypeScript as the base language for the Angular apps. So when they brought in Angular 2.x series, 2.0, 2.1, and so on, they actually used TypeScript since then. And the versions which have been released till now, after Angular 2, we got Angular 4, they skipped Angular 3. 3 was there, but that was for their internal testing purposes only, which further got enhanced. And publicly, they released it as Angular 4. Then we got Angular 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 being the latest. And the most stable of them is, with newer feature, is Angular 10. So that's the reason I said we are going to focus on the development with Angular 10. Okay. Now, this Angular framework has got some features. FX is for framework. First point goes here. It's a component-based framework. Component-based or component-oriented, you can say. What that means? It by default supports your tiered architecture here. Whatever code you want to write, the code is distributed across different components, and then there is a base framework which allows you to write some program that collates these components to provide the overall functionality as one application. So it's a component-based framework for building scalable web applications. Do you understand what is scalable application? What is the meaning of scale here in this context? Anybody ever heard about this term? If you have worked or read something about the cloud computing, probably you might have heard this term, scalable applications or scalability.
Like it can be uh, posted on big big servers as well. The size of the application will not matter then, something like that.
Not that way it is. Basically, big servers means what? Do you mean heavy configuration based
Yeah,
servers?
yes, yes.
Yeah, so near to that, but exactly that's not the answer. The point is, when I create any application, I need to see how many users and how many requests this application can support at any point in time. If I say there is a limitation to that, 100 users, 200 users, 1000 users, 10,000 users, whatever, that application is not scalable. If the answer is it doesn't matter how many users are there, how many requests are there at any point in time, my application will just work. Just that it depends on what infrastructure is provided. So that's where your thing comes, Adesha. The point is
Okay.
my application should be adaptable. If I provide better hardware, it should be automatically able to scale up its operations. And with cloud, that is all automated. Your infrastructure can be configured for auto scaling. So based on the load, the configuration of the virtual machines on which the application is hosted can be decided. If I have elementary load, why should I have a server with heavy configuration? Because that will cost me a lot, isn't it? But if the load increases, probably I am okay if heavy configuration is used. It should be proportional to the requirement. That's what I mean. And that way, my application should be able to scale down or scale up based on whatever the environment is being provided. Even if I have a heavy configuration server, but if my application itself is not developed in a way that it can leverage the heavy configuration, what will that application uh, be doing in that case, or how it will be useful for me in that case, or how the heavy configuration will be useful for me in that case? So it's not the server, it's the capability of the application to adapt the requirement and leverage from the environment which is provided. Whatever best it can provide in the environment provided. That's where we say the application is scalable. Do you get that?
Yes.
So Angular is a framework which allows you to build highly scalable web applications because it is based on distributed development concept. With distributed programming, anyways, we target scalability only. If one of the instance is not capable of handling a load beyond a certain limit, I probably scale up my application by creating more instances and then some routing, which automatically does some sort of load balancing also for me. Or if that is not possible, probably I can use the load balancers, software based or hardware based load balancers in that case. Do you get that? Then the next point is the Angular framework is a collection of well integrated libraries that cover a wide variety of features that include routing, just like what we have seen in ASP.NET MVC, forms management, everything with a business application, even if it is a client-side web application, and then client-server communication, etc. Okay, so lot of libraries already there ready to use. Because it's a framework, we expect that. That's what the definition of framework we discussed on day 2. Remember? Next, the Angular framework is a suite of developer tools that help you develop, build, build means compile, test, and update your code whenever required. So complete maintainability. Okay. Now, with the help of this Angular framework, you can actually write the applications which can scale from a single developer application, means where it's so simple that even a single person can develop it, elementary business application, to very complex enterprise scale application. It is designed to make the development and the management maintenance of the code as easily as possible. With minimum efforts, you should be able to build simple to complex application. Doesn't matter what is the level of complexity. Okay. And as we discussed, it's a completely component based framework. So whatever we design, for whichever feature we want to code, everything is going to be created as a component. Is it clear? Now,
Yes.
let's see the implementation, which starts with setting up the project first of all for the front end. And that project is something which I want ultimately to talk to this web API, the department web API that we created yesterday. All the 5 operations it should provide me that I have in the API. Okay, so for that, I just start this API application first. I'm sorry. And just to make sure this API is still working fine without any issues, we'll go to the Swagger and call that get departments method once. Just to be sure that it's still working, I say get, try it out. If I get the data, my API is up and running, and I'll be good to go for implementing the front-end application. It looks like it's working fine. If one is working, the other four operations are also going to work without any issues because I have not changed any code in this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The official website for this Angular framework is angular.io. Just make a note of it. You'll find the exhaustive documentation, the official documentation on this website, along with lots of examples and the complete tutorial also for Angular development. Its focus will be entirely on client-side single-page application development. Nothing about the server. At the most, it will be just giving you some details in the tutorials that, okay, there is a service which returns me this. So I'm going to write an Angular app which communicates with this service and provides me the UI for working with that service. Got it? So let's keep this running. I'll just minimize the browser. This application, the web API application, I'm keeping in running mode only. I'm not stopping it. I just minimize this Visual Studio as well. And then the first thing we need to check on our machine is whether we have the Node.js installed or not. How do we check that? Just go to Start, type CMD, and press Enter. The command prompt opens up. Type node space -v. If it gives you some version number here instead of an error, that means the Node.js platform is installed. Node.js development we are not going to do, but we are going to use some Node tools to allow us create the Angular app. Node again is a JavaScript framework which is mainly for the server side development. The web API that we developed in .NET can also be developed using JavaScript with the help of Node. Okay. But though, as I said, we are not going to use Node, still the Angular app development is going to make use of some Node tools. In order to create the application at the initial level, we will need this node. So just check. Do you get some version there? And is it this same version or higher version?
It's 14.16.1 for me.
That's okay. Anything similar to
It's
this or higher than this is okay.
14.17.3.
No problem.
Yeah.
What I said, I repeat. Any version equal to this or greater than this is fine with me. Because Angular 10 at minimum requires this Node.js version. Higher version is okay. Higher versions are all backward compatible. Okay. The next thing that we need to check is, just like in .NET, we have Nuget package manager. Node uses Node package manager. It provides us exactly the same thing as Nuget packages, but Nuget packages are for .NET applications. Node package manager gives me the packages for anything to do with the JavaScript based development. It allows me to develop Node applications. It allows me to add packages to the Node applications, whatever required, JavaScript packages. Same way, any JavaScript based development I can get set up with Node, whether it is Angular or React or Vue.js or Backbone.js, whichever JavaScript library or framework I want to use, including Jquery as well. Okay. So, what did I say? What is the package manager name? It's Node package manager, which is called as npm in short. For commands, it is npm only. So we need to check what is the version of npm that we have on our machine. So type npm space -v and press enter. Just like the previous command, you should see some npm version also over here. Any version which is equal to 7.7.0 or higher is acceptable. So just make sure about the same.
It's lower for
Hello,
me.
Saket.
6.1.
Yeah, it's lower for me too.
It's lower for me too.
No
6.14
problem.
point.
If it is lower, you can simply say npm install npm and press enter. Using Node Package Manager, we are installing the latest version of Node Package Manager here. And once this is done, you can once again say npm space -v.
It's still the same version.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we need admin
We need
permissions
to
to run this.
specify the version also. So see here itself, we are having the command for that. npm install -g npm add 7.20.0. That's the latest version. Just type this command. npm install -g is globally. Install it. Globally means for all users, not only the current user. And then I say add 7.20.0.
It worked.
Yeah, works.
And then we can check version once again. So by doing this, it must have upgraded the version. It has done it for me also. From 7.7, I got 7.20 now, right?
Yes.
Next,
Saket, I'm not getting any output for npm -v.
just try this command once.
Okay.
If this command has worked, it should give you the output for npm space -v. Did it work?
No, I don't see any response. I'm just having a blank blinking. That's it.
Okay, can you share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Saket, can you see the screen?
It's loading. Yeah, now I can see.
Yeah.
It's npm install -g. Did you put hyphen before G?
Yeah, there is a help.
Okay, it's still doing it, I guess.
Rollback failed option.
Installed, it
implementation.
will actually be installing it.
Okay.
Or sometimes the upgrade also takes time if lots of upgrades have come in between. You have
Okay, I think it worked.
6.14.13, right?
Yeah.
Also, it depends on your internet speed because it downloads the packages from internet, just like how Nuget
Yeah.
downloads the packages from internet, right? So
Yeah,
once
it
it is,
worked. It worked.
it must show you the correct result. npm-v should show you 7.20.0.
Yeah,
There.
it's showing.
Yeah. Okay. We needed this npm to be upgraded for the reason that now using this npm or node package manager, we want to install the Angular CLI on our machine. For that, you have to say npm install -g. Again, globally, I want to install the Angular CLI. Then the name of the CLI you want to install. So at Angular/CLI. If I just press enter here, it will install the latest Angular CLI, which will be 12 point something. I am looking for a specific version here, that is 10.0.3. So mention at 10.0.3, just like how we did it for npm, and then press enter. This will set up the Angular CLI 10.0.3. Okay. Once this command is completed, check what is the version of the Angular which has been installed and configured on your machine, just to verify the correct installation has been done. The command for that is ng. Ng is for Angular version. It shows you Angular CLI logo, and there it confirms Angular CLI version. It's 10.0.3. Everyone got this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now we need to go to the directory where we want to create our project. Just say my code is on D drive, so I just go to D drive first. Remember how did we start with the .NET development on day 2? We went into the directory and then we used the command line commands, correct? The same thing I'm going to do here. So I go to D drive. For me, my demos are in a folder named as desktop backups. In that, I have a folder named as desktop 5th March 2021. In that, I have got a folder named as Providence, followed by demos, and I press enter there. Perform a dir command where I can see all of my demo projects. Here only I want to create my sample. Okay, before I proceed with my Angular app, actually I would need a small change in my web API also. Right, we will discuss that later. We won't be doing it right now. Let's see the problem first of all. What we face if we don't make the change to the web API. Let's face that first. Okay, so let's ignore this and go ahead and create your application. So how do we create the application? Now onwards, it's not Node or npm we will be using for Angular things. For Angular things, it's the command ng. New. ng new allows me to create a new Angular app, followed by whatever name you want to give to this app. Maybe I can say this app is named as demo app -ng app. Usually you will find this kind of naming conventions for Angular apps. The suffix -ng app is generally used, but that's not a compulsion. This is just for our own understanding that, okay, this folder contains a project which is an Angular app. Got my point? Press enter. It asks, would you like to add Angular routing? Though in our demonstration, as of now, we are not going to use it, but in future we may need it. So I'll say yes, I want to add the routing. It's better to keep it ready. The moment I put Y and press enter, it is giving me some selections. Which type of style sheet format you would like to use for the designing. If you know CSS, select CSS. If you know the other style sheet formats, the advanced ones, SCSS or SASS or LESS or Stylus, you can go for that also. Ultimate output will be CSS only. It's just that your code for the style sheet will be written using the new language. But now I'm going to keep it CSS because that is the most widely used one format, and mostly people know this, at least the basics of CSS. So I'll go with CSS. Using up and down arrow keys, you can actually make the selection here. So I make CSS highlighted and press enter. It then goes ahead and creates the application for me.
Saket, can you once show the create the new project command once again?
Which command you want?
Creating the new project command.
Yeah, sure. It is this. ng space new space name of the application
I should
hyphen.
add the Angular routing, right?
Yes. So type Y, press enter. And then for style sheet, make sure CSS is highlighted with blue color and press
Yeah.
enter.
Okay. Thank you.
Just issue the dir command here to see there is a folder demo app ng app created here. Let's say cd demo app ng app. Here, if you see, there is a project structure created already for me with several files already in place with one folder src there, which actually contains the entire application code for me. There are some other files which are configuration files, which are unit test configuration files for Angular app. So that is out of scope as of now. That's why we are not actually discussing that Karma and Jasmine and all that. These are the frameworks which allow us to do the unit testing of the Angular code. So let's keep that aside. Here, now I would need, for designing purpose, the Bootstrap framework to be added. Bootstrap theming framework, CSS based only. But Bootstrap theming for dynamic effects depends on Jquery. So first I need to install Jquery. I'll say use npm I for install. I don't want it to be globally installed. I want for this application only the Jquery to be installed locally. So I say Jquery. If I don't give version, it will be the latest version of Jquery. I am going to use one tried and tested version here so that we won't face any issues while developing the application. So I say at the rate 1.9.1 hyphen save, which makes sure that the jQuery, whatever is downloaded, is actually saved in the application scope itself. Press enter. It's failed. Okay, I feel there is some problem I'm having with this application setup. I'll just do this once again. Let me delete that original folder. I go to File Explorer, C drive, desktop backups, 5th March 2021, Providence, demos. Here I delete demo app NG. I go back to the command line and demos folder itself. I'm now going to say ng new once again. I'll say the name is demo client app -ng app. Y enter. CSS is what I want, so I just press enter. Oh, it's still failing. Some package it's not able to resolve.
Yeah, Saket, I'm getting the same error as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess all of us are getting the same error.
Okay, just a moment. Let me try that. Meanwhile, you can just delete that application folder. Let me fix this. Most likely this should resolve the issue. If it does, I'll just explain what I did. Okay, so looks like this is working. So let me do it all over again. Uh, I hope you guys have already deleted that directory.
Yeah.
If not,
Yes.
please. This looks to be solving my problem here. So something to do with the testing framework based on Jasmine and Karma. Precisely, Karma requires a specific dependency on Jasmine version 3.8 or later. And the default application template which is getting created is having a dependency on a version lower than that, because of which the packages are not being able to install or download. It's taking time because number of packages it actually got downloaded after making the change in a folder
Uh,
named as
Hello,
which
Saket.
makes it, yeah,
Do we need to delete that demo app, ng app?
yes, delete that, we'll recreate
Okay.
just to understand what's going wrong and what needs to be corrected. Okay, so this is plain. Now here I'll start with that same original name itself. I created the new app with the name demo app ng, right? Ng new demo app ng. This command will be used as it is. For router, we will say yes. So type Y and press enter. For style sheet at CSS, which is selected by default, just press enter. Your app directory gets created, but the packages are not restored properly because of some failure. And here itself, it is actually showing Jasmine core version 3.8 or later is required for this Karma tool. These are all unit testing tools, but they are integrated with your application. So until and unless you don't resolve this issue, your application will not be properly generated with all the dependencies downloaded. So for that, what you have to do is you have to get inside the application folder, say cd, and then the name of the application, which we gave as demo app ng app. Press enter. Here you will find a file by the name package.json. So if I say dir asterisk.json, there will be one file visible by the name package.json. You have to go to File Explorer, the same folder which represents your application. Look for package.json, right click it and open it in any text editor.
Sakit, can you go a bit behind? Yeah,
Yes.
thanks.
Yeah. So once your application is created, just go inside the directory of the application by saying cd. Okay. That's what we did on command line. And then go to the File Explorer, locate your folder, go inside that demo app ng app. So this is the list of files and folders you will get. There you see a file named as package.json. Select that file, right click and open with any text editor. I'll get it opened with Notepad++. Here you have to search for the entry for Jasmine core. So under dev dependencies, we have it, Jasmine core. See the version that is mentioned here is equal to or greater than 3.5. I'll make it 3.8 here. And then there is Jasmine. Okay, this we can leave as it is. Here this should be Jasmine core set to 3.8 or later. That's just one single change. Got it?
Sakit, can you repeat it once?
Yeah, so your application created.
Yeah.
We went into the directory of the application on the command line for the further things which we are going to do. Then
Yeah.
in File Explorer, where we deleted that folder, we came back and we opened the folder demo app ng app or whatever name you have used for your application, so that you can see all these files. Yes? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Just open this file by right clicking on it, the package.json file. Right click on it and open with any text editor. It could be Visual Studio, it could be Notepad, or whichever other editor you have. If not visible, you can always go for open with and say Notepad, or you can say choose another app within which you can select Notepad. Right? Open. This is how the file will look like in the text editor. Yes? There you search for the entry under dev dependencies. You have Jasmine core. Version listed over there. Just check what you have. I got it as 3.5.0.
Yeah, it's the same 3.5.0.
Change it to 3.8.0. This is the single change. Once you are done with this, save the file and close it. Done?
Yes.
Go back to command line. Make sure you are in the application folder. If not, use the cd command and get into the folder. Yes?
Yeah.
Now say npm space install. It will install all the missing packages that got missed because of the error earlier. Npm space install and just press enter. It will take some time. Multiple packages are there which were not downloaded and installed, which will now be downloaded and installed properly. As the cause of the error we have already corrected. This is done. Yes?
Yes.
Is it done for everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now go back to the file explorer where your project files were visible. You should see one more folder added there, that is node modules. And within that, if you go, there are multiple node packages which seems to be installed with the last command that we use here. Getting it?
Yeah.
We can now close this file editor or file explorer, and here you type the command ng serve. To say your application is set up properly. It will actually start the Angular CLI server on which this application will be hosted and will be served. It's compiling the entire application. Once the compilation is done, it will start the server and our application will be automatically hosted. It will give us the URL also where the application is hosted. Once we get the URL, we can take the URL and go to the browser and check whether the application is up and running or not. See here, it shows you the URL. http://localhost : some port number, right?
Yes.
Copy this URL, go to the browser, open another tab, paste the URL and press enter. You should see something like this, where it gives you the tutorial for Angular, the documentation for Angular CLI, the blog link for Angular, then the specific tutorials for specific activities. Like if I want to create a new component, how do I create that? How do I run and watch the tests, unit tests? How do I prepare my application to build it for the production environment? How do I add the dependencies and so on? So a small website automatically gets displayed there. If I make changes to the source code, I don't need to restart the server here. The server automatically detects the changes, gets that changed component compiled, and automatically refreshes the browser also. This is pretty good for development environment. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now within our application, we are actually going to use Bootstrap for the theming part, which the application is not using by default. So for that reason, okay, this browser I can just keep as it is. Let's minimize that. Here we say Control C to stop the server, right? So as I said, I need the Bootstrap theming framework to be used further for my own application requirement. And the Bootstrap depends on jQuery. So I go for installing the jQuery framework here, what we were trying earlier, and we got the error. So the command was npm space I space jQuery at 1.9.1. Usually the latest version will also work, but I've not tried and tested and I don't want any hiccup during the session. That's why I'm using the tried and tested version 1.9.1. Later on, once the training is done, probably you can try without the version specified. That will get the latest version of jQuery installed and you can then test your application whether it works or not. For now, use this only. Press enter. The jQuery now should be installed, as we have already fixed the error which we had earlier.
Saket, can you repeat the process?
Simply just run this command. Your Bootstrap depends on jQuery, hence the jQuery we are installing. And as I said, I don't want any hindrances during the training session. I'm using the tried and tested version. Usually the latest version will also work, but I'm not sure because I've not tried. That's why specifying version. Later on, after the training, if you want to repeat this exercise for that employee thing, you can actually try installing the latest version. In that case, you just need to say npm space I space jQuery space hyphen hyphen save. That will get the latest jQuery library installed.
Saket,
Yeah.
I'm getting error in this command.
And what is that error?
Same here.
It's multiple error that starts with E404.
Okay. Can you share your screen?
Sure. Is it visible?
It's
Yeah, I can see
jQuery.
that.
jQuery
The
spelling is wrong.
jQuery why is
jQuery
Oops.
wrong?
spelling is wrong. It's Jquery. That's why 404, not found. Who else was
Thank you.
getting that?
I was getting the same error.
Did you check the spelling and all?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, share the screen. Yes, I can see. What is the command you are using?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, you missed Y in jQuery, I guess.
No, then I redid it.
Yeah, I
Now it's
saw the earlier
working.
one. Yeah. So it is npm ijquery at 1.9.1 space hyphen hyphen save. Yeah, it's installed actually.
Yeah.
It says added one package, removed one, right? So it's added. Done.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope my screen is visible again.
Yes, it is.
Now, there is another package that we require to install for Bootstrap to work for positioning the controls properly in relation to the other controls. And that package name is popper. So we once again use npm command, npm I popper.js, popper.js. The version that I'm looking for is supposed to be greater than or equal to 1.16.0. So for that, I put the caret symbol along with the version 1.16.0. This is the minimum version required. Space hyphen hyphen save. npm space I space popper .js at caret 1.16.0 space hyphen hyphen save. Press enter. Okay. Is it done?
Yeah.
And then we install the Bootstrap framework itself. So npm I Bootstrap. I'm okay with latest version for Bootstrap. There I say save. Done.
Yes.
Let's see our application still works the same way or not. How do we check that? Here we start the server once again. ng serve. This is a development server. Post deployment, this Angular CLI server will not be used. Your web application server will be used. It's the same port over here. And I just go to the browser and click refresh over here. I'm still able to see the same UI without any changes, without any problem. So that means adding the packages has not made any changes or has not introduced any problems into my application. Got it? Now we can keep this up and running. We don't need to stop this because we are not installing any packages or anything here. In fact, once we will require this to be stopped. So I just say Control C once more. And then I want a service component to be installed into my package, into my application, which I will be using to communicate with my web API. To do that, the command is ng g, that is global, for the project, s, that is for service, and then the name of the service. The API which I'm looking to communicate with is named as departments API. So can I call this service as department service? Yes, of course. I can say it's departments service. It will automatically associate with this name. So I just say ng space g space s space departments. It will create a service by the name department service. Press enter. Two files it creates: departments.service.spec.ts and departments.service.ts, where departments.service.ts actually contains the implementation. Spec.ts contains only the metadata of this particular service, which is actually going to be a TypeScript class. I told you TypeScript is an object-oriented language, which ultimately transforms itself to JavaScript. Yes? If you issue the dir command here, you will find there is a folder called as src. If you go inside that src folder and issue the dir command, there is complex folder structure actually. So easily, if you want to browse through it, it will be good if you browse through the file explorer. So we'll directly look into this from within our Visual Studio. And just come back to the main app. Important is the two files should have been generated. Did you get the confirmation that these two files are generated?
Yes, Saket.
Once this is done, open a new instance of Visual Studio. For this development, actually, it's not necessary that you need to have a Visual Studio only. You can work with any text editor. You can use a lightweight version of Visual Studio also named as Visual Studio Code for this. Okay. Here, as this project is not a Visual Studio project, I cannot say open project or solution or something like that. It's just a folder for Visual Studio. So I'll say open a local folder. The open folder box basically opens. Just browse to the location where your project is present. So for me, it is D drive, desktop backups, desktop 5th March 2021, Providence, demos. In that, I have demo ng app, and I say select folder. Just the main folder itself, demo app ng app. I select and say select folder.
Saket,
Yeah,
from the Visual Studio opening page, we select open a local folder, right?
correct.
Okay.
And which folder you have to open? The folder by the name of your application. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm just pasting the links of the recordings for day 3 and day 4 sessions. Someone please check and confirm if it is accessible. There are a couple of links for day 3. Just check, I put that in chat box. And now there are a couple of links for day 4 as well. I'll put that also in the chat box. Just check. Okay, so done. The folder is open. If you go to Solution Explorer, you should see something similar to this. Getting it?
Yes.
Just expand the folder named as SRC. SRC contains a file index.html which is getting loaded for us. If I open this file, let's see what it has got into it. Simply some basic HTML on the top, and then body contains a tag called as app root, which is not an HTML tag. It is basically something served by your Angular framework. Do you get that? There must be some component for this. There is a file called as main.ts, which is actually the entry point of your application. Importing different modules and just making them work. Now, these are not the contents that we are actually going to edit. Okay. You go to the folder called as app. There you find some services and some components. Components are there which are generated by default with the creation of the application itself. Then the services files are the ones which we just added prior to opening Visual Studio. Department service, if you remember. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So here, the first thing that we are going to do is edit this department.service.ts file, which is actually going to interact with my web API. Let's open this file. It has got some initial code already put into it. Importing some package, then saying injectable provided in root. So this automatically gets injected into that app root. And then there is a class which is being exported so that it can be used across other classes, other application components also. If export is not used, it will not be usable anywhere else. It will be something like private class. I want it to be public, that's why export. Class name is department service, which is going to do the job for me for communicating with my web API. Do you get that? In order to be able to communicate with web API, I will need one Angular package to be imported here. This is just like using statement. So I say import curly braces from the name of the package which I want to import here, followed by semicolon. The name of the package I put here in single quotes, @Angular slash common slash HTTP. This package provides me the objects that are required to be able to communicate with any web service. The classes which I want to import from this package, I mentioned over here. If I want to import all classes of this package, I would put asterisk. If I'm looking for a specific class, I would say HTTP client, whatever the class I want to import. This HTTP client is the class which actually will do the communication, and it may require some additional inputs in the form of headers. If you remember in Postman, we were doing some header stuff. The accept header, then content type header we passed. Remember?
Yeah.
For that, I'm going to need another class to be imported here that is named as HTTP headers. Get it? Then in the class, I define a private data member. See, it's all object oriented, very much similar to C#, isn't it? I have access modifiers. I have the different keywords like read only or constant, right? I can define variables with the data types. That makes it type safe and better than JavaScript.
Here
Okay,
export
I say
means
private.
public, Saket.
Export means I'm making the class available across different components of the application. Something similar to public class.
Okay.
So let's say private read only. Variable is there by the name API URL. Colon. After colon, I need to specify the data type of this variable. I said TypeScript is the language which is strongly typed language or type safe language. So I need to specify the data type for each variable which I define. Just the syntax compared to C# is slightly different. In C#, we give the data type first and then variable name. Here it is variable name first, followed by colon, then data type. That's a small change. And then by whatever value I want to initialize this. So here I need to give the complete path of my API here. How do I get that? I go to the browser, I go to the Swagger UI, and here if I say, okay, it's not, yeah, it's giving me the complete URL here. Request URL, https://localhost:/44311/API/departments/API. I copy this and paste it here. Done. Then the constructor is going to be required to get the HTTP client object initialized, which will provide me the service communication. So I modify the constructor to take in a private variable named as HTTP of type HTTP client. So it's a parameter of type HTTP client I have created by the name HTTP. That is it. The constructor will resolve this from the dependency injection engine, which is built into the Angular. It will automatically ask Angular framework to give the new instance of HTTP client, and that will be assigned to HTTP here. Then I create a JSON object over here by the name HTTP options, literal object I'm creating here. So directly I can say the literal object name equals to curly braces. Within curly brace, whatever I put is actually going to be key value pair. That's the JSON format. We have seen that. So here I say headers is the key. And the data type of the headers, I'll say, is, in fact, the value of the headers is new HTTP header instance. This itself requires a JSON object to be passed into it. So here I say curly brace. The key for this is content type colon application slash JSON. No semicolon at the end, because this is actually an object, JSON object. So if something required, it will be a comma, not a semicolon.
Saket, so can you tell me what
Yes.
are we exactly trying to do here?
Remember yesterday's exercise we did just before the lunch break, where we used Postman to be able to communicate with our service?
Yes.
Precisely for post and put, we were giving some request body.
Yeah.
To give the request body, we set some HTTP header.
Yeah.
What was that? Content type only, right?
Yes.
And what was the value? Application JSON,
The application JS.
right?
Yeah.
So don't you think when I post or put from here also I need to pass the HTTP header?
Okay. Okay.
This
Saket,
object HTTP options contains that configuration. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not get this URL of the API in Swagger. Actually, I'm
You should
not
get.
able to find.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is your application running, the API application?
Yes. Yes.
Are you able to get to the Swagger page?
Yes. I'm able to.
Able to see this department's API at least this way?
Yes. I'm not getting like. Yeah, I clicked on that, and I am just getting three things like response class, model, and response content type tried out. That's it.
Did you implement department's API properly yesterday?
Yes, I could, I guess.
Okay, just share your screen. Let me see what's wrong.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Just zoom
Yeah.
it a bit.
This is what I'm getting actually.
Oh yeah. So you are getting department's API. When you click on get, okay, it's not showing the complete path, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Just check, is there something called as request URL somewhere? Just click.
Where will I click?
Try it out.
Okay.
Click on try it out. After that, I believe you will get the
Yeah.
request URL there. See, there it is.
Okay. Thank you.
And anyways, even if it is not there, you just can copy the base URL of your website for the web API and then put API/departments API manually.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So where were we? We just set the HTTP options object, right? Once this is done, now it is just about writing the different methods.
So Saket, yesterday we also tried for application/XML. So if you want, we can also have that, right?
Yes. So if you know how to create the structure for XML, you can actually try with application XML as well.
Okay.
But you should be aware of the XML processing using JavaScript, using TypeScript. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Now the JSON is much more easier format to understand and to process. That's why usually in all the training sessions. Even if you see the online content, you will find JSON only. And that's the widely used format because it is much more compressed also. So that is another
Okay.
reason. Okay.
Okay.
So now here I create a custom member method of this department service class named as getData. JavaScript, TypeScript uses camel casing for the method names or identifiers. So getData, you can see how I've named it. Here I just say return this dot HTTP, where when I say this dot HTTP, actually I'm referring to the local variable defined inside the constructor parameter, which makes it a private member of the class as well. Okay, so I say this dot HTTP dot get. This is a built-in method in the HTTP client class, which automatically creates an HTTP GET request, just like Postman and Swagger did. What the GET request requires? Is it this dot API URL that is enough? To the GET, we just need the URL of the API to be passed. Am I right? You can see it
Yes.
here as well. So I say, whatever response is returned, just directly return it as the return value of the getData method. You get that?
Yeah. Saket, you told this is private using this keyword. How is that?
Not using this keyword. Here we have said this dot HTTP gives me access to this HTTP, which
Okay.
is a private member of the class department service
Okay.
by this definition. So this is usual this keyword only, just like what we have in C++ or Java or .NET,
Okay.
C# precisely. Okay. Then I create another method for post operation, which receives a parameter called as form data, which is actually going to collect all the data, input data from the HTML form. Do you get that? Here I say return this dot HTTP dot post. I need to create HTTP post request for this, where I pass this dot API URL, but the post requires a method body also, request body also. So for that, I pass form data here. Sense? This is exactly same thing I'm coding, which we have tried with Swagger, which we have tried with Postman. Now it's my custom application, so I need to write code for the same thing. Next is put data for update operation, which takes in ID and form data as the parameter. And then there I say return this dot HTTP dot put this dot API URL plus put requires ID parameter to be passed in route. So after API URL, I need to append hash, then append the value of ID, and then it requires a request body as well, which is represented by form data variable. And then I say delete data. Takes in single parameter ID, and the code is return this dot HTTP dot delete this dot API URL. This also requires ID parameter to be passed in route as the part of path. So I say slash plus ID. And that's my service. Pretty simple implementation. Yes,
Yes.
straightforward communication we are making with the built-in features. Angular is a framework, so it provides me the ready-to-use features over here already. Remember the name of this class. What is this? Department service. And then there is class, the TS file over here by the name departments.service.spec.ts, which actually imports that exported class department service from this package, where this file actually, when compiled, becomes a package for me. And here it is making it available for all other components. We need not do any changes to this file. This is just for your understanding that your department service actually is going to be configured to be available across the project from here. And hence the spec.ts file is also important. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Saket,
Yes.
where did we we declared the HTTP options in line 30 in line 13.
Yes.
Where did we
Yes.
use it?
It is not supposed to be used explicitly anywhere. It is automatically picked up. Your HTTP services are configured already to read a variable by this name, HTTP options.
So the variable name has to be always HTTP options.
HTTP options, correct.
Okay.
If you give something else, you will be required to pass it explicitly somewhere here. If you see the signature somewhere, it is taking HTTP headers. Can you see that?
Yes.
Here you will be required to pass the HTTP headers object explicitly created.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you,
If you
Saket.
create the variable name by HTTP options, it is used by default. You don't need to put it. So this is much more easier, no?
Yes.
Okay, let's close this file. Next, before I glue this particular service with my application, here in app folder itself, you can see there is a file named as app-component.html. Has got lots of style information followed by some HTML information, which is responsible for giving me the output of my application this way. This all is coming from that app.component.html only. I don't want anything from this UI. If I want to keep something, I can. I just modify the code accordingly. But if I'm looking to design and develop the entire UI on my own, I don't want to use anything from here. In that case, I just go to this file app.component.html, select all the code and delete and save. I make this empty. The effect of this you can immediately see in the browser. It should refresh in some time. I guess I didn't start the server again after adding the service. So let me see. Yeah. So if the server was already running, this page would have automatically refreshed to show us a blank UI. Let's wait for the server to start. It will consider all the changes also, all the additional things also. And if it was running, it would have compiled on the spot whatever the changes we make and refresh the browser automatically. Now this was manual, that's why here I need to click on refresh myself. You can see the page has become blank. If you want to see the live refresh thing, I can just do that by going back over here and say h1 hi there. Save this file and just come to the browser. You don't need to refresh anything. It has automatically detected and it's showing me the changes. Here also you can see it has detected the change, compiled it and made the browser refresh automatically. That's the advantage of using the development server during developing the application. Understand? Okay, so I just go back and get this removed once more, save, and I can see the browser automatically refreshes here again. Okay, now we'll be coming back to this file shortly. Before that, I need to modify a file named as app.component.ts, because this is something which will pull in whatever the code that we want and integrate with the UI. This component code you can treat as your controller. Okay, and services code you can treat as some business logic which talks to the APIs. It is not doing anything else. It is not updating UI. It is just calling web API and returning the response. The actual controlling logic goes inside this app component or any other component that you create. So here I go to app component. This is something which I said is your entry point as well, ultimately within the Angular application. Already having some code like the package Angular core being imported, then the component configuration itself, which says selector is app root. So that detects app root tag into your main index.html file. And then it says template URL is app.component.html. So with this, it injects whatever HTML code you write here into the place where app root tag is configured and uses the style sheet URL given over here if required. And then here also we have a class app component which will contain the functionality, the controller logic. So before I write the controller logic, the first thing I need is import some packages here. So I say import curly brace from within single quote. I'll say dot, that means my application, slash, what is the service name that we have given? Department service, right? Let me verify, is it department or departments? It's departments. So I'll say this is DEPTS dot service. This is case sensitive as well. So you have to use the same case that you have for the file name over here. And what I want to import from here is the class department service that we just wrote before this. Apart from this, I want one Angular package to be imported. So I say import curly brace from at Angular. Anything from the Angular will come with at Angular slash whatever the actual package name is. So the package that I'm looking to import here is forms, which allows me to use the functionality from the form processing engine of Angular. That allows me to work with the controls like text box, button, checkbox, drop down list box, and so on. So what all things I want from here? I want form group class, then I want form control class, and then I'm looking for a class named as validators. Okay. Then I come to the class definition, app component. Title I am okay with. I create a constructor for this. So let's type constructor. In parentheses, I say private instance of department service. I mean by the name department service of type department service. And then curly braces. Okay, so this is constructor which will get a private variable of app component class initialized, the variable with the name department service, and it will automatically resolve to an instance of department service class. Then I set up some variables for this class. I say there is first variable data, which I say is set to any. That means it can have any value. Then I say create an object named as department form, which is of type form group. Then I say there is a variable named as submitted, which is supposed to be a Boolean type with initial value as false to check whether the form is submitted or yet to be submitted. Submitted false means it's not submitted. Submitted true means it's submitted. And then I create another variable event value of type any, that means variant, with the initial value as save. Basically, this is something which I'm going to use to set the title of the button for save operation and update operation. If there is a new record, the title should be saved. If there is an existing record which is being edited, then the title of the button should be update. And that I'll check based on the status of this variable. Okay. Then I create a method which has got a fixed name, ng on init. I said it's fixed name because this is going to be used as an event handler. Whenever the Angular gets initialized in this particular component, first constructor will be called and then this method will be called automatically. So this is like on load. Then I say void. It doesn't return anything. And then I have got some code here. Here I say this dot get data. It calls a function, the local function from this particular component called as get data. Not yet written, we will be writing it shortly. And get data will call the get data function that we have written in the department service, which receives the data, and then once the data is received, we want to bind it to the form. So here I say this dot department form is equal to new form group based on the JSON object configured here, where the first key is department number, which will be initialized to new form control with the initial value as null. So it will be empty. Next is dname, which will be initialized to new form control with initial value as empty string. And then I want a validation on this. I say validators.required. I can do it for this also, comma validators dot required. Should go in square braces. Same here, comma location colon new form control empty comma. If I don't want to put the validation on this, I can leave it blank, just like this. And then we have one more parameter, department name head something, right? So let me check over here, department head name. Department head name colon new form control with initial value as empty. No validation required here as well. Okay. Now what's missing? Get data is not yet created, correct? So just after this ng on init is finished, I say there is a function called as get data. See, the error is gone here the moment I put this in place. What it is going to do is it is going to communicate with my department service. So I say this dot department service dot get data. From department service, it calls the method get data, and then I say dot subscribe. Subscribe allows me to receive the data returned by that service. Variable data colon array of some type, okay, which goes in the lambda expression. Anonymous method feature we have here as well. And here the function subscribe gets ended. There will be one more parenthesis required here. Data is the data returned by the get data function, right? So some array it is going to return, which goes in this lambda expression where I say this dot data, the local parameter data is set to the data that is received by the call to get data. Okay, the rendering code is not here. This is just the controller code. Likewise, I need the delete operation also to be configured. So here I say delete data is the next function that takes in ID as the parameter and then interacts with the service, department service. From there, it invokes the method delete data to which it passes ID and then subscribes to its result. So subscribe data any array, any type of array goes in this method body where I say this dot data equals to data. And after deleting again, I want to say this dot get data. That the deleted record actually gets, I mean, the UI gets refreshed to show that the record is actually deleted. In fact, this line is not mandatory. You can comment this out. Then I'm looking to handle another method that is save. When the save method is called, I first want to say the submitted parameter of type boolean has been set to true. So I say this dot submitted equals true. Then I check if this dot department form dot invalid, means the validation errors are there. Then just return, don't do anything. If all good, if all the data is valid, communicate with department service and call the post data method from there, where it is asking for form data. So I'll say this dot department's form dot value. And then I subscribe to its return value. So again I say colon, parenthesis, within parenthesis, another parenthesis that declares data of type any type of array that goes in. I need to refresh the UI once again. So again, it will be exactly the same. So here also, this is something which you can avoid, because anyways, you just need the refresh activity. This is save operation. Oh yeah, so this is not required. This we are going to handle from another place. Here I just need to say this dot reset form, a method that we will be writing shortly, which is actually going to clear the form. Okay. Then once the save is done, I want to handle the update operation. It's going to be quite similar to this. I just get this copy, pasted here. Some changes I'm going to need. So this dot submitted, true, required. If invalid, return. This is fine. Post data will be replaced with put data. Here put data requires the ID parameter as well. So I say this dot department form dot department number. The department form dot value dot department number, comma, this dot department form dot value dot subscribe. This goes as it is, and it also calls the reset form. So only changes here and one additional parameter being passed compared to save operation. And then I need the reset form operation with this method I need to create. So here I say the method reset form goes. Error is gone the moment I put this method. Here I say this dot get data. That's why I removed the get data from here. We'll do the refresh, and then says this dot department form dot. It has got a built-in method called as reset to clear all the form elements, and it sets the event value. Okay, and submit it to false. And then there is one more method required, which will be actually toggling the UI. When the update operation is required, first of all, I need to show the existing data into the controls based on whichever record is selected. So for that, I say there is a method named as edit data. Receives the parameter data, the record which needs to be edited, and sets the record into the controls. So I say department form dot controls, the collection of controls held by the form. Control that I'm looking for is department number. Dot set value. I want to set its value parameter to data dot department number. Same way the other 4 fields. What are the names? Name, location, department, head, name. Values also with the same name. Okay, so this is my component code. Or compared to MVC, this is my controller code. Got it? Any doubt here?
Saket,
Yes.
in line number 15, data is equal to any. I'm getting
Yeah,
an error at any.
Okay, can you share the screen?
Yeah.
Data colon any. You have put equal to.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
JSON format we have to use now.
Yeah.
So Saket, the functions which we wrote now are for, this will act like a controller and will enable us to use the get, post, put and all, right?
Absolutely. So this is controller which talks to the service. Service talks to the web API.
Okay.
Understand?
Yeah.
So you got the flow here, right? The reverse flow we are discussing. API is called by service. Service is called by the component. And we are saying component is just like the MVC controller at the client side. Yes?
Saket, can you show the edit data function?
Yeah, sure. The last one, right?
Yeah.
Here.
Thanks.
Saket, can you once again tell what does this dot subscribe do?
Dot subscribe is like when I'm calling a service which communicates with a web API. That service is returning me something, right?
Yeah.
If you go to this department service.ts, each of these services are returning me something. Do you see
Yes.
the return statement?
Yeah.
Result obtained by calling the web API. I am
Okay.
subscribing to that result itself when I say subscribe.
Okay.
So that result is represented by this variable data.
Okay.
So when I put any array type, even if it is a single object, that is okay. If it is an array, that is also okay. It will just accommodate anything just because of the any keyword, any data type. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. So time for a break. Let's have a 15 minutes break here. We'll resume the session at 12:10 and we'll see the further things. So 2 more implementations we need and we'll be able to test our application. So that will finish our part 1 session today. That is on Angular. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, just confirm if the links that I shared for day 3 and day 4 sessions are working.
Yes, they are working.
Okay. Thanks. So we'll be
Sakit,
resuming
can you
by
go to
12.
the ng onIt function once? Just a second.
On in it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, here.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, it's okay. Thank you.
Hello, Sakit.
Yes. Okay.
Sakit, a small question. We're editing this in app.components.ts, right?
Correct.
So this get data, are these the components or like what are the components that we created? Did we create a component? Or
See,
did we
the
not?
component is basically the class that you have here, and
Oh,
this
okay.
class has got the member.
Okay. So we're just creating
Get data
methods,
is a
right?
member function of the component named as app component.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, when I'm trying to, type in ngserve, host my application on the server, so it's showing me that cannot find module node forge.
Okay. Can you share your screen?
Yeah. Just a sec. Is it visible now?
Yeah, I can see. Is it the case right from the beginning?
No. Just now only like it came.
Okay. After adding few things, the error started coming. Is it?
Yeah. When I cleared the screen for like the default code of Angular. So when I erased it and when I served it again, so now from that only it's showing the error.
Okay. Which screen you actually deleted? Can you show me?
Yeah, just a second. The HTML one, this.
app.component.html, right? Just
Yes.
save it. Just save the changes. Save all. It shouldn't be the case actually, because it is just a template file.
Yes. Again, it's showing.
Okay, just wait a minute. Just share your screen again.
Yeah.
So Harsh, just type npm I.
npm.
Will install this Node Forge module explicitly. Node.
Yeah.
-forge.
-4. Forge. Okay. Forge.
Forge.
Yeah.
And enter. And now try ngserve. Still the same error, is it?
Yes.
Can you type npm space install once? Now try ng serve. Oh, I guess there is something that got deleted accidentally.
Okay.
So you need the application to be recreated, and then you can add the files and you can move in the code there.
Okay. No worries. We'll
Because
try
this
it.
can be fixed, but this will take time.
Yeah.
Because
So.
we need to find what got deleted, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So like for creating the application, I just need to create a new application and copy the code there,
Correct.
right? Yeah,
Correct.
cool.
The same set of statements that we followed, no? So
Yeah,
first we created the application, then we edited the package.json, and then we said npm install. Then we installed the three packages, one for jQuery, one for Popper, and then Bootstrap. And then we added the service, department service, and then the entire thing is all about code. Correct?
okay. Cool.
So same steps you have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, welcome back, guys. Shall we proceed? Shall we proceed, guys? You guys, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Saket.
Yes, Saket.
Okay, so shall we proceed?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope the screen is visible as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have got our controlling logic also in place. We need to start integrating this with our main application. And for that, now we will need to edit the next file, which is app.module.ts. So go to Solution Explorer, app folder. In that you have app.module.ts. Let's open that. We need to plug in our services, controllers, everything here. Like there are few things already being plugged in here. It all starts with, first of all, importing the packages that we are using. So import from Angular forms. So I'll say at Angular hash forms. What I want to import from here is forms module and reactive forms module, which actually gives me event driven implementation. Then I go for importing from HTTP services. So it will be at Angular /common /HTTP. Same thing what we used earlier. In the main application, if it is not injected, the other subsequent components will not be able to see it. So here also we need to get it injected. So let's say HTTP client module is the one that I'm looking to import here. Then I import my own service. So import from dot slash department dot service, and the class which I want to import from here is department service class. Okay, so declarations will go as it is. Imports is where I need to make some changes, where I need to say it imports the forms module. It imports the reactive forms module and it imports the HTTP client module. So once these modules are imported here, the subsequent components then can use any class which belongs to those modules. In providers, I'll say there is one provider, that is department service. Bootstrap is app component, and then there is a class app module, which is going to take care of the entire application. So
What is
that's
a
it.
provider here, Saket?
Provider is like any service provider we are probably using. In our case, there is a provider which talks to a web API. So our
Okay.
service, department service that we have created is the provider.
Okay.
Okay. Any external communication provider is provider. Okay. So is this done?
Yes.
Now, the last part which is pending here is the view to be created, the HTML portion. We deleted the content from here, app.component.html, right? So we need to create some UI. I'll say there is a div which uses a Bootstrap class named as container. Wherein I create a form for an Angular component form group. So here within square brackets, I say form group equal to whatever name I want to give to it. Let's say I call it as department form. Which is what I'm retrieving here, right? And using all along, wherever the form is referred to. So this name, what we have given here, and the name that we are going to give over here now is supposed to match. Otherwise, the linking will not be there. Then I say handle the submit event with Angular. So I say ng submit in parentheses equal to within double quotes. I say this square bracket event value and I call the constructor by putting parentheses again. So that is event handler. Submit will be handled by that on init thing actually, not the constructor. Then I have some design stuff. I have H3 for heading, which says department table, CRUD, operations, demo. You can change it to whatever you want. Then I have another div with class from Bootstrap being used as row. For more information, you can read the Bootstrap documentation. Then I have a table created over here, which uses the class as table. Within the table, I have my first row here, which has got TD for D name. That's department name. You can put full name also. Then I have TD. In fact, I would need one for department number as well. I say department number. Then I say TD. Has got input type number as department number is number. Then I say form control name equals to department number. We'll close this. We have a div at the same level. Has got an Angular attribute set over here for condition. Ng if asterisk ng if with I capital equal to, I need to give condition. If submitted is true and this submitted is nothing but this variable and which is boolean. If it is true and department form dot controls dot department number dot errors is true as well, then this div content has to be displayed with Bootstrap class being used as text danger, which just makes the text appear in red color. What I want to display here is another div which has got a condition of its own, char ng if equal to department form dot controls dot errors dot required. So I'm checking if the error is required error. Department number is required is the text that should be displayed. Okay. Copy this entire TR, paste it after this last year, make some changes. This should be dname. This should be text. Form control name should be dname. Ng if will be required. Submitted department forms dot controls dot dname this time dot errors if errors are there. Here also I'll be checking for, okay, one mistake I guess I've did. Ngf department forms dot controls dot control name I missed. So here I say department number dot errors. And the same thing here. Controls dot dname dot errors dot required. If it is the required error, I'll display the message department name or dname is required. Okay. Same way, again I copy this tr, paste it here. This is going to be location. I don't have any validation over here, so this div portion I'll just remove. And here only the control name is going to change to location. Then I copy this tr, paste it here. Title is department head name. Form control name is department head name. No validation for this also. Then another row which has got a TD with call span of 2. Within TD, what I have is button with type as submit, class as btn dash primary. That's a Bootstrap class. The text which I want to display is event value variable. So this will be automatically picked up from Angular. This is something called as handlebar expression, as this curly brace looks like handlebar. And this table is finished, this div is finished. Okay, that's the individual input stuff. Now I want to display all the records which are already there. So here I say there is another div with class as row. What this div contains is another table with class as table stripe, that is for giving some alternative look and feel for the rows, and then I create different rows here. So tr, which has got th, that is table header, department number, are 4 columns. So I say dname, then location, then department head name. Then the next set of rows I want to generate based on whatever the actual records are there. So for that, I need something like for each. So I say asterisk ng for is equivalent of for each. Here I say let d of data, where data represents the collection, d represents the individual object. This is just like for each d in data. You can compare it with that. Here I say generate one td, that is going to have the value of d dot department number. Likewise, I will need 4 tds in total. Here I want dname, I believe our API is not using these names, so we'll need some changes. Our API is having full names over here, right? So let's change it. Right from the top itself. Control names are okay. The data names, okay. Control names also will change. Right from the control, the component that we created will change from there itself. App component.ts, I'll say it's not department number, it's department number. Or it is no. So I'll say no. This is department name. This is location. This is department head name. Only a couple of properties have the problem here. Let's see if anywhere else it is referred in the component. Yes. Get data doesn't have it. Delete data doesn't have it. Save doesn't have it. We do have it in update. I'll say this is department and O. Rest all is fine. And then here, it's department and O and department name. Location and department head name is O. Only component requires changes.
Why are we changing the names, Saket?
See, our API is returning the names like this. If we don't use these names, it won't do the mapping, no?
Okay.
Okay, so it has to match with this, what the API is returning.
Is it case sensitive as well?
Not really, but yeah, JSON uses this camel casing, so I'm using that.
Okay, okay.
Okay. And then in module, we are not referring to these. It's just the component.ts which has got these two names. And then it is the form that we are looking to create right now. So let's check it from the top. This is just the display purpose, so this is okay. Form control name is where I'll make change. Department NO. Here also this will be department NO. Here also it will be department NO. And then here, form control name, department name, here and here as well. So whatever I'm just displaying, that's okay if I don't change it. But wherever the references are there for controls and for the data members being returned, there you have to make changes. Location and department head name is all fine. So accordingly, I'll make changes here. This should be department NO. This should be department name. This should be location. This should be department head name. Then I have another TD where I have a hyperlink. Click event I want to handle. So I say click is equal to the method edit data that we have created in the component, the controller equivalent is what I want to call, and I want to pass the current object D as the parameter. I say the class used is BTN, BTN success, style I say is setting up the font color to white, and the text to display is edit. Copy and paste this. There is another link I'm going to create, which is okay. Edit data is with E small. I just make that change. Next is delete data. Requires department number. So I say D dot department NO. Class is BTN, BTN danger. Style color colon white, and the text to be displayed is delete. And that is it. Done, everyone?
Saket, can you tell what are the last two TDs which we wrote?
That is to generate the hyperlinks. For
Okay.
being able to say that I want to edit this record or delete this record.
Okay.
There will be rows of records, right? In
Yeah.
front of each row, I want edit and delete options.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Now, if you go to browser, you can see your UI is almost there. Data should have been there as well. Yeah. So this is something we will discuss shortly. But the UI we are creating on the basis of the Bootstrap theme. I have put that theme also in place wherever required, but the UI is not looking like that.
Saket, could you show the HTML code once?
Yes. So just give me a minute.
Okay.
Do you understand that the theming is not working?
Yeah.
Yes, Saket. Yeah.
There must be some configuration required to link our project with the Bootstrap theme, right?
Yes, Saket.
Yes.
So one simple configuration is required. Just give me a minute. Someone asked me to show me this, so we'll wait for a while and we'll see the configuration. Is this done?
Yes, Saket.
Okay, so now go to a file named as style.css available here. It must be empty right now. Just a comment is there which I can delete. Here I need to say my application style actually is based on Bootstrap. So I say add import. Then single quotes, I need to give the path of the Bootstrap file, where it is. If you see, it's not showing the node modules, I guess, over here. Let me refresh this. Okay, let me say show all files. Yeah, we have node modules after show all files. If I expand node modules, there must be a node module called as Bootstrap somewhere in this. Here it is. I want to refer this folder. In this folder, there is a folder called as dist for distribution. This distribution folder contains another folder CSS, and there I have my bootstrap.min.css. This is the file I want to refer. So the path will be tilde bootstrap. This tilde bootstrap automatically refers to the bootstrap folder in node modules. Here onwards, it will be all relative path. So I say slash dist. Dist contains CSS. CSS contains bootstrap.min.css. The minified version of Bootstrap. Minified compressed version. Okay. Let's save this. And now go to the browser. Some theming I can see here immediately. Yes.
Yes.
This is my save button. This is my form control. The data is not still coming. If I go to the developer tools, which you can activate by pressing F12 function key on your keyboard, here immediately you can see if you are on the sources tab, it shows you some error information. I can see there are 3 errors being reported. I click on that, and here you can see it is giving me the complaint. Simply says access to XML HTTP request at so and so from origin so and so has been blocked by CORS policy. CORS stands for cross origin resource sharing. No access control allow origin header is present on the requested resource. That's why we get failed to load resource. That's why we get HTTP error response over here. Got my point? For security reasons, directly from within the browser, From one domain to another domain, the calls are not permitted by default. Here, localhost 4200 is a different domain from localhost 44311. Got my point or not?
Yeah.
These are equivalent to have different origins or different ports or different domains. Yes. So we need to make sure that our API is updated to support this cross-origin resource sharing, because my application architecture itself is like that. There, if required, I can specify that whitelist only this particular domain, so that request coming from any other domain will not be entertained. Do you get that?
Yes.
How do I do that? I have to go to the API project. I stop it, and then some configuration required over here, which requires me to install a package first of all that allows me to set up the CORS policies in the API project. So here is my API project. Here is the references of API project. I right click on references of the API project. Say manage Nuget packages. The name of the package that I'm looking for is Microsoft.ASP.WebAPI.cos. Here it is. Microsoft.ASP.NET.WebAPI.cos. Able to find? Install the latest stable version here.
Hello,
Yeah.
Sakit. Meanwhile, could you tell me how did we find node modules in the solution window?
Yeah, sure. So it was this project where I go to Solution Explorer.
Yep.
This is that ng demo, right?
Yeah.
So here you have a button in the Solution Explorer window, show all files. If you
Yes.
click that, it is shown.
Okay.
It's there, but
Right.
it is kept hidden by default. So when I say show all files, it displays everything.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
If I again click this, it's gone. But it's still there. It's not deleted. Okay.
Saket,
Yes.
yeah, could you show me departments.service.ts file once?
Sure. Here.
Yeah, it says I'm missing a Angular ng module annotation. I'm not
Okay.
understanding where it is wrong.
Okay. Can you share the screen?
Yes. Yeah, over here, it is showing this.
Okay, just wait. appears in the ng module dot imports of app module, but could not be resolved to an ng module class. Is it missing ng module annotation? Okay. Okay, so error is not in this file. Can you go to just go to Visual Studio and open the app.module.ts file.
App.module. Yes.
Okay. So forms module are there. HTTP client module is also there. Platform browser is there. Angular core is there. Routing module. App.component is there. Forms module, Angular forms. Angular common HTTP is there. And then departments.service is also there, right? Imports, can you check? Yeah, see, the mistake is line 21. Can you remove that?
Okay.
And the comma preceding that. And then in providers square bracket, put department service. Line
Which line?
22. Provider square bracket is there, right? Within square bracket, put department service.
Okay.
Save. And
Yeah.
this should work.
Yes, it's done. Thank you, Saket.
Because it's not a component actually, it's a service. And service has to be registered with providers.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Saket, when my that page crashed, so when I started the server by ngserve, it shows me some error, but it also gives me the local host address. So is it okay? Like it says it failed to load that bootstrap.min.css.
Probably the path is the problem. Can you share your screen?
Yes, wait a second.
Go to Visual Studio, open styles.css file. So what you have put is import.
Spelling is wrong. Bootstrap.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Cool. Thank you.
Is my screen visible? I got some error here.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let me go to the API project. Here it is waiting for some changes to be made. I just say okay, I accept, and the package should be installed. The course package. Is it installed for all of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's close this page. The next thing that we need to do is go to Solution Explorer. And here in app start folder, you have a file named as web API config.cs. Open that file where you must have a method called as register. Yes. Here we have to say config as the first line. We have to say config dot enable course. Okay. The next thing we have to do is we have to go to the controller class now. Is this done?
Yeah.
Now go to your department's API or whichever API you want to configure. Or in fact, you can configure for the entire project also. Whichever controllers are there, all controllers will basically allow you the course communication. Okay. You can do it for individual controllers or you can do it globally. To do it globally, here itself you have to say where course is equal to new enable course attribute. Resolve the namespace for this to system.web.http.core. And then the first thing is origins. Which origin you want to allow. If I want any origin to be allowed, I would say star. If I want specific origin, I'll give the domain name. Something like localhost :4200 I can mention here. Comma. The next is headers. Which headers are allowed? I say whatever headers I'm using. And then which methods are allowed, like get, post, put, delete. I want all the methods to be allowed. So I say star. And then I pass this course object to this enable course. So this is the global configuration, means whichever web API you have now into your project, for all web APIs, the course policy has been applied. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Save this and run the API once again.
Saket, could you tell which course was to be installed? Because it's showing error in my one.
What is the name you have used?
Uh, it's uh, it's Microsoft ASP.NET course.
Microsoft.aspnet.webapi.course.
Okay.
I just go to Swagger to see my API is still working. Just say try it out for the time being. It all seems to be working. The configuration hasn't broken my application, right? I'll keep this as it is, and then my client application I'll launch in a different tab. Let's say http:// localhost colon 4200 was my port, and press enter. Okay, this is interesting. My data is not getting loaded. 4 rows are there. That's why I can see the buttons being generated over here. But somehow the data is not loaded. Maybe some typo mistakes are there. We'll just fix it out. This I'll keep running. I just go back to my ng app, and the HTML component I go to. I try changing this one first. It may be behaving case sensitive way. So just checking. I make this one change, and yeah, so that's the point. I can confirm that within the API results. Yeah, here it is using all caps, right? So yeah, one question was there, is it case sensitive? So it is behaving case sensitive way. If you are using .NET Core, in .NET Core, it doesn't work as case sensitive, but here in .NET Framework, it is. So I make the necessary changes here in that ng for, and then probably here also. Yeah, I see the data. I click on edit. It should have displayed the information here. Possibly it's the same issue here as well. Form control name, probably I need to update. Let's check it with one of them first. So I update this, and then no, this is not the case. Just get it updated everywhere. Department number, this is department name, this is department name, this is location with capital L, this is department head with capital D, and then and the component also I'll check once. This I save, then I go to component, yeah, and department location, department head name. Anywhere else I'm using this? Yeah, so these all things will change. Department number, name, location, department head name. Here. Everywhere where we are referring to these names, we have to make sure these are the same as the API. Let's save. Still not showing me the data. What's wrong? Let me check. Nothing wrong here as such. Looks like I have missed something here. Yeah, most important part. So this should be department and O. Department name, location, and then department head name. Save this. I did change this, but forgot to change this part. Save. Yes, it's all being displayed. So what I do first is I say there is a new department 50 with the name as Nils, Pune, Larry. I click on save. Try again. Name is oh, not getting saved. Okay, let me try edit once. Post is not working. Delete also seems to be not working. Okay. Oh yeah, it's showing some errors here. Okay, it's not able to get the values, I believe that's the reason. So somewhere again we have some mapping issue. It must be there in the component only or HTML. Oh yes. This should make the delete work at least. Let's save and try. Yeah, delete is working. Pune, James. Okay, so there is some error it is showing in event value. We will fix it. Let me see what's wrong with edit. Maybe the same issue with edit as well. Yeah, it's the event value which is giving error. So let's go back. This is fine. I don't think the error is here. Then the event value somewhere in the component we are using. HTML only. There's one more place we put that. Move the function parenthesis this event value I'll just put and try. It's already refreshed. Let me try adding. This is interesting now. Let's check here. It's added. Angular is not having any issue. I mean, the UI thing, the parentheses you can remove from here. This is something which created the problem. And now the call is not being, it looks like. The post.
Saket, if I'm not getting anything in response body, then where should I go and check about any mistake which I have, which
First, you have to check your web API whether it is able to return the data or not.
no, in Swagger also now it's coming blank in response body.
So that means your table doesn't have the data. Just add some data to it.
It's there actually. I can see it in SSMS.
Is it?
Yeah.
Then Swagger should display that if it is there in the
It's just
database.
coming two brackets. That's it. No data inside.
Just check your database connection string. Are you referring to the correct database? Because with code first, if the database name is changed, it just creates a new database there, and we keep on referring to old database in SSMS. So just make sure it is the same database.
Okay.
Saket,
Yeah.
even after declaring the config.enable course, I'm still getting the error.
Okay. Just a minute. I'll just fix my problem, and
Oh,
we'll look into yours also.
okay, okay.
Some typo looks like I have done here, which is causing the issue. It's actually is supposed to be like this only. Event value. How did I define event value? There could be case issue. Actually, event value, if it is save, it will call save. If it is update, it will call update. Yeah, it could be the case issue here. As we are giving save like this with capital S, and we have the method save with small s, and then same could be the case with update as well. Most likely that is the case. And even I missed one statement here in app component piece. So it should be this dot event value equals to update. And to make this work, I just need my method name update with capital U and method name save with capital S. With this change, it should work. I save this. Must have refreshed over here in the browser. Let me add 40. The name, location name, department head name James. Save. Yes, it's working. And then I want to, let's say, add one more 50. The name is sales. Pune, Larry. Save. It's working. I want to edit this. So it shows me the data. I change the location to Mumbai and click. See here the text has changed to update for update operation. Just click on update and I see it's changed. So all working. So it was a typo mistake I did. Let me tell you what all changes I did. Here in app component.ts, the save method I gave with small s, which I made capital S, update with capital U, which was small earlier. And then I missed this one statement here to toggle the text. When I'm clicking on edit, the text of the button should change to update as well. Okay. So this will make it work. So just check. Yeah. Now someone was asking for some issue. Can you share your screen?
Yeah, Saket, the course issue is solved.
What was the problem?
Yeah, I didn't declare the course variable inside the config dot.
Okay.
NF.
You mean you didn't pass it?
Yeah, I didn't pass it.
That's
Yes.
why it was not getting applied.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saket, I made all the changes which you showed, but I cannot see any data in my
Okay.
app.
Share your screen.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see. First check within the Swagger, are you getting the data there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now show me your service first of all. Department service from the client application. Can I see the Swagger once? It's API/departments on port 44302. Okay, go to Visual Studio. 44302 API/departments. Okay, so there is no problem here. Go to the component. App components. Yes. Second one. Okay, the changes are fine. Scroll up. Okay, scroll up. Okay. Okay, show me the get data method which you have written.
Get data.
In this file itself. App component TS only must have
Yeah, get data.
Okay, this dot data equals to data is what you're giving, right? Okay. Now go to the browser and show me. Okay, just press F12. Now click on that error. It says cannot bind to. Yeah, there is a typo here. Go to your HTML page, component.app.com. ng if I should be capital wherever you are using.
ng. Okay.
Above that also you have one.
Yeah, that's capital. This two capital.
Yeah. Then check where ng4 is used. It should be in the bottom section where we are iterating. ng for F capital. Bottom section.
ng for F capital.
Save and go to the browser.
Yeah.
So department number only is not getting displayed. Most likely again there also some typo error must be there with the name of the property. Go to Swagger UI, check what is the department number field. It's department number complete, just like me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Show me your HTML page again. Component.html.
Okay, there's a typo.
Yeah, double T are there, I guess.
Yeah.
It's there.
But why am I getting the string here?
That must be the case within the database. You might have directly clicked insert or execute in Swagger
I might have
UI.
clicked save. Okay.
Not here in the Swagger UI, you might have done that. So you can delete this.
Delete is not working.
Okay. Just press F12. Now click on delete for the first row. Delete data is not a function, it says. So again, I believe it's a typo, spelling mistake.
Yeah.
In the anchor, this file only, HTML file only. Just scroll down. The second anchor you are creating, line 59. Line 59.
Yeah, delete.
Yes. If now click on delete.
Yeah.
Okay, so mostly with web applications, that's the case. It is just because of the typo mismatches or typo errors, the things sometimes don't work. So it's not a big error always, but yeah, we need to find. It takes some time. Okay.
Yeah, update also.
Update you should be capital. So again, there are several places where we have done that. I believe you have updated your component.ts already to have capital U.
Yeah.
Right. Go to the HTML app.component.html. Scroll down. And yeah, now try that. It must have already refreshed in the browser if you have saved it. Just click on edit. Hover on that button. Yeah, it's connected, so it should work. Not updating?
No.
Okay, show me the code again for update. Edit data, okay. Now Go to the top. Yeah, event value and then parenthesis we have to put again. It's the save or update function which should call, no?
Yeah.
So insert and iterate both will work now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try creating a new record as well. Save is having issue. It says 400.
Yeah.
API/departments. Can you expand that post error? Okay. Okay. Go to Visual Studio. Go to the component.ts file, app component.ts. Show me the save function. Post data, department form. Okay. Can you see the service? Department service.
What?
Department service. Can you see that?
Okay.
Saket, can we leave for the lunch break?
Yes. So
And when
resume
will
by
we
2:30.
2:30?
2:30 will. Yeah.
Okay.
The post is right. Com data. This is correct. Okay, go back to the com. Just check post is working in the API using Swagger. Give the same values which you're trying to give. Yeah. So validation failed. HRD, make it HRD. So it will work from your application also now.
Okay.
Right? Go back. Just refresh this page. No, this may conflict. So just refresh once. The HRD should be visible here.
HRD is.
It should be visible. You executed the API, right?
Yeah.
But it failed again. I guess it failed again.
No content.
Okay. Response code 409. That means there is another error here. Can you click on get once? Right. Okay. So it was a conflict, I believe. Department number 50 already was there. Okay. Go back to your app. Give a different number. Go back to app. Give a different number. So just like we have handled the required error, you can handle the conflict error also.
Yeah, it's working.
Right?
Yeah. Thank you, Saket.
So Swagger is important, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello,
Okay.
Saket.
Resume by
Okay,
2:30.
Saket. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Saket, I'm able to see the values, but I'm not able to only edit or add. That's it. I can delete.
Share
I can see the values. Yeah, sure.
Share yours. It must be again typo only.
No, I checked a lot. There was okay. Yeah. I see. I cannot add the value. and I cannot edit a value.
Okay. Show me your
Let's
HTML
say
view.
view. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the error. Just go to the top.
Okay.
Line number 2, event value square bracket. After that, put parenthesis.
Okay.
And now try. Save and try.
Okay. If I say edit, let's say HYD. Nope, not working.
Okay. Just press F12. Click on update. Okay.
No.
Go back to Visual Studio. Event value parenthesis. Okay, show me from the top itself. Yeah. Now line number 11, department number is not modified.
Okay.
And okay. Scroll down slowly. Location, then scroll down. Scroll down. Okay. Edit data, delete data. Word. Fine. Now go to the component.ts.
Okay.
Okay. The department form submitted, event value, fine. Get data, then department form. Okay. Okay. Scroll down. Department service dot get data. Save is this. Post data. Okay. Then we have 8. This is for put data, department number, and value, that is fine. Update is here. Okay. This is all good. Can you go to service, department service?
Okay. Yeah.
Get post, put, and delete. Fine. Go back to the HTML app component. Edit data. Delete is working, you said, right?
Yeah, delete's working fine.
Okay. Show me component once again, the edit data method.
Okay. Yeah. Edit data. Yeah.
Edit data. Okay. Receiving and display. Fine. Okay. Go back to HTML.
Yeah.
For this is fine. Okay. Okay. Scroll up. Scroll up. This all looks good now. Just save
Yeah.
all. Save all.
Saved.
Refresh once again manually.
Okay.
Try entering a new record.
Save is not working. Delete works fine.
Hmm.
Swagger. Yeah. No data. Yeah. Added a new data. Yeah. The data is updated, but edit is not working again.
So error is just one for update and save both actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's scrutinize once again.
Okay.
Show me HTML from the
Okay.
top.
Okay. This is my HTML.